Miracles walk, money talk, but it can't touch your CC Rock.
Welcome to CC Rock. I am Metal Matt, and I'm in Santa Rosa, California for a very special night of CC Rock, Last Day Saloon, with former Scorpions guitarist Uli Roth. That's right, the mesmerizing fingers of this virtuoso guitarist will grace the stage here tonight at CC Rock. So sit back and relax, because you're going to hear some great old Scorpions tunes, plus some great new music from his new album, CC Rock.
Don't turn around, I'm going straight ahead. I can't stop now, I'll find a light somewhere. When I'm on the edge, when I can't look down, no. Slipping, 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 no, no. Want you to rescue me. Wow, rescue me. Oh, you, want you to rescue me.
No, we've never been apart. Our love is fire to my heart. We'll burn the sky when it's time for me to die. Burn the sky. Oh, yeah. Burn the sky. Oh, yeah. When it's time, into the with the sunshine. I'm in love with the falling
Welcome back to CC Rock. I am Metal Matt, and I am lucky enough to be in the presence of a supreme guitar hero, Uli Roth. Can I say Roth or Roth? Don Dawkins said Roth. Why would Don Dawkins say Roth?
Because he's cool. In Germany, it's Roth. But in America, nobody can pronounce that, so it's Uli Roth.
John Roth, well, the legendary guitarist from the Scorpions, also so many great solo albums you put out over the years. You've got a new album out, which I'm dying to hear tonight. Tell me about the new album.
It's called Under a Dark Sky. It's a concept album, and it was just released last week. And, well, it's got a big sound. It's got full orchestra, full band, 2 great singers, and what can I say? Lots of melodies, you know.
I know you've used a lot of visual images in your past shows. This show is more of just about the music, it sounds like.
I guess so, yeah. It's true.
When you pull together these videos, I mean, obviously, as a person who works in the world of video, how do you come up with these ideas? What are you thinking about when you think about the different images you're trying to portray in your music?
It's usually quite easy because I think there's always a visual image hidden in every piece of music. In fact, there's usually an endless amount. You just need to tune in, and then it just comes to you. You know, ideas come, and then once you start working with the video on the timeline, then other ideas get sparked off. It's just a normal creative process, but I always find it quite easy to do once you have good shots, you know.
I noticed last time we interviewed you in Concord, I had this old Betacam over here which was dying on us, and we had to end up running back to the studio to do the interview because it wasn't happening there at the venue. And you seem very, very observant about understanding video. You work with video somewhat, a little bit, so you know about cameras a little bit.
Well, I do know because, believe it or not, but I started out as a photographer. When I was 5 years old, my dad, who used to be a journalist, photographer, author, he taught me all about photography. And I became really involved in it, and I had my own darkroom by the time I was 9. I had a big archive by the time I was 12. And then I started doing Super 8 movies, and one of my childhood dreams was to be a film director. So it never happened. But I did direct a few videos and stuff, and I think I know how to do it because I do understand, I understand a lot about it, maybe not everything, but Yeah, I've got a good visual sense.
Well, that's a good word, visual sense, because as a person who works in video a lot, sometimes you kind of see the project before you even do the project. Your music, the same sense. I mean, you've come up with such complex, it's just such beautifully eloquent music for a guitar work. How do you kind of, what do you have to do to get yourself excited about making this music? I mean, sometimes it's so complex. I mean, let's face it, it's so intertwined.
It's the creative process is usually very easy. Ideas come to me just like that, but it's then sometimes hard to put into action, the actual production, you know, and to kind of materialize it. But the actual composition is the easy part. All I do is I get into the right frame of mind, which is a creative frame of mind, and I start off with something and then it just starts to flow. And then the rest is just editing. But what I do a lot is I'll get an idea, and I think that's probably the same with anybody in the creative field, and that idea kind of calls you. It beckons you to explore what's behind it. And then this idea will, you know, grow, and then something else develops. And it's exactly the same with music as with storytelling or whatever. And my music personally, the music I like to hear is always very visual. I think in terms of cinema scope when I write a piece of music. You know, it's I see things developing. It's not like, you know, somebody opens the door and walks from A to B. It's not like that. It's more I don't know. It's other things. It's movements, it's shapes, it's colors. It is emotions in 3D, you know, and somehow that seems to translate in such a way that other people can relate to it too. Maybe they don't see the same images, probably not, but they know something's going on. For instance, for my new album, first time I played like the first piece to someone, they said, but where's the movie? You know, so they thought, you know, it was like that, you know.
It's like a river. I mean, you go back to the days of the Scorpions.
Actually, we do that.
It's like a river, my God.
It back into the program after 30 years because there were so many requests for some of the old stuff that I wrote, and recently I started revisiting some of them, and I enjoyed it. And I've got such a good band with me now that it's just a pleasure to put that stuff into action. We've got 2 fantastic singers, and we're a seven piece, so it's very easy to make it sound as it should be.
7 pieces on stage. I mean, obviously, when I saw you last time in Concord, you had a big band also, and you had somebody special on tour with you that time. Was Francis Buchos, from ex-Scorpion member also. How is Francis? What happened with Francis, and how is he doing?
Francis was working on an album with a friend of mine at the moment. They call it Dreamtide, and so he joined that band. And the thing was, on that album, it's I love to do the album, the bass myself on the album, you know, and I didn't want to ask him to play, you know, not play on the album and then play live. You know, that would have felt a bit strange. But we're good friends, you know, and I love Francis, so there's no problem.
Well, I know you've done a few little gigs with Michael, the Scorpions, these little kind of get-together things. How does the relationship with the Scorpions after all these years?
It is, it's excellent. I mean, we're still friends, and yes, we did start a series of reunion shows, you know, in 2005, and we did quite a few last year, and we're doing more this year. We're doing a tour of England now in October. France, and yeah, it's enjoyable, but it is what it is. You know, for me, it's more like you know, a step back into the past. But there's nothing melancholic about it because, you know, I'm doing something different now, and I'm very happy with that. But I can still relate to some of that old stuff, you know, and the audience keeps asking for it. So. While there is a demand, you know, while people are happy to listen to it, I'm happy to play it, you know.
When you think about the demand and how the fans from the years of the 70s and the 80s, such a strong music scene, and they've always, like I said, demand of all these different reunions. They come up and they come up and they come up and they come up. I mean, obviously, let's say, you know, Matthias Jabzi's very entwined in the Scorpions these days. But I mean, it's never came about any observations or talk about the Scorpions actually going back to the old days of a reunion ever.
I don't think that would really happen because we've really have gone separate ways, and you know, maybe a project. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, but nothing's on the horizon, you know. And they're busy doing their thing, and I'm extremely busy doing mine. And I've got so many things in the pipeline that I want to record, and they take up all my energy, you know. I don't want to step into a Scorpion situation, just, you know, spending a few days here and there. You know, I would have to give it my all. And I don't really want to give it my all because I've been there, and to me that is the past, and it's something that's okay to revisit, like, you know, on the basis we're doing it, but I just can't see any more than that.
As years are passing by, silence becomes your friend. You see life in a different way, yeah. Don't be afraid of getting old. Life's still full of joy. Even if the past is refreshing your mind. As days are getting short and winter comes along, your life slows down and down.
short, and winter comes along, your life slows down in town, yeah. Like a river's getting wide, words are lost their voice. You remember your morning, flowing to the endless sea. Life's like a river in the morning. Life's like a sea without end. No. Life's like a river in the morning. Yeah. Life's like a sea without end.
The last person is somebody I've interviewed before. Great guy. He's been through some tough times, but he's another virtuoso like you. You probably know I'm talking about the other member of the Scorpions from the early days, Michael Schenker. He's kind of get back on his feet again. He's got a new album called Mr. Beauty. How's your interactions with Michael? Has it been a positive thing?
Yeah, always actually. There's a deep mutual respect between the two of us, and we are friends. And it's not easy being friends with Michael because he doesn't choose many friends. He's very much a loner. But we've always had the music thing going, and we've known each other since we were I think the first time I saw the guy was when he was 11 or something like that, So that says something. But whenever we do play together on stage, I always really enjoy playing with Michael because he is so musical. And when you're jamming, a lot of people, when you're jamming with them, they kind of overplay or they kind of do the ego thing and they destroy the music. Michael never does that. He always serves the music that he's playing at that moment, which is what I'm trying to do, Maybe not always succeeding, but with him it's always a pleasure to actually jam with him. And it's usually the moments that are not on stage or in public that are the best. Like I remember we were rehearsing for the Castle Donning in Legends of